Okay, so a little Klingon bird of play, whatever you want to call this thing, update. As you can see, it's mostly together. Last time we stacked and sawed our nose cones in shape. I'm still waiting to put the accessories, top and bottom, to pretty that up. This is just a temporary battery so I can test the motors. Add these little fillets. This does double duty. It adds strength to the neck, and it presents that profile that the ships have. So we'll use cardstock to close that off, just to make it look nice. And I'll have a foam plate that will go in here that will lock in. But I needed to test the orientation of the motors, and I thought I would show why we're leaving those tubes out. So the tubes I set up in my paper forms, the paper plans for cutting these formers. I just rolled up the exhaust tubes and threw them in there. They've been in there for a day or so, so hopefully that's given them a nice curve, so they'll be ready when I'm ready for them. But if I flip this over, you can see some of the servo action. So the servo wires are plenty long enough, no extensions needed. Tucked in through here, fished them out. Y harness for the motors. Pull out the positive lead for one of your motors there, so you're left with the negative and the signal lead. Some ESCs are fine, and the BECs don't fight, but it's just good practice to pull one out. And those, you can see those are just set up. I bought a bunch of these flight test control horns. I can make them. I can cut them from gift cards. I have quite a few of them around here that are cut from gift cards. If I can get this to turn. Whoop, it's not going to turn. There we go. Just a control horn cut from a gift card. Works great, but it takes time. And these were very inexpensive, so there we go. Flight test control horns. Standard 9 grammers, just tucked in with a little dot of hot glue. And oddly enough, I got really lucky and plugged them in right, so I didn't have to reverse anything. If you've ever done an Elevon ship, half the time I end up swapping those servos around. But the amazing thing is the amount of thrust these little bad boys make compared to the old noisemakers. That's about twice the thrust that I was getting out of those old things. So there we are so far. So we're about done. Wrapping up some final bits. The torque tubes were installed very similar to the Vigan instructions, if you've ever watched that. The length is approximately 3.5 times the diameter. From what I've read, 4 times the diameter is what you want for a straighter flow, to get rid of the flow turbulence inside. We're looking for a very straight discharge. If the thrust tube is too short, you get a turbulent flow, and the air that's coming out is not a nice straight vector. Your air vectors are going to be disjoint, going in different directions. So, longer thrust tube to a 90% FSA, fan swept area, should optimize that for us. Very similar, just rolled tubes, glued, taped, whatnot. Put the top on. What we're up to now is the wingtips. Now with the plan, we have the rough outline of the wing. Cut a straight score line at the base of the wing. Taper it on the side, and what will happen is this glues up to the wingtip, and we're left with our angled droop wingtip. So with a bit of hot glue and a touch of the sander, we end up with a nice closed wing structure and the droop wingtip. And this is just cut to shape, bend to fit, glue to taste. Hopefully we can get the other side to match. Now, since I'm such a genius, I figured out a way to match up these wingtips. So that was the wingtip that I had glued the first time. Just lay it flat on its belly with the nose hanging off so it can't sit down, and just match up the angle on the other side. Why didn't I think of that earlier? I was worried about it. So the ship is done. There is a 1600 milliamp 3-cell tucked in the neck. Let's see what our weight comes out to be. That's 752 grams. For those of us in the States, let's hit that bad boy. Oops. £1 10 ounces, 10.5 ounces. Well, I'd like it to be a little lighter, but it's not bad. So there it is, all in all. Hopefully the maiden will be happening soon. Thanks for watching.